This program is sponsored by
Greco Printing and Imaging, The Brand Barbershop, Crystal Bright Janitorial, Classics and Beyond Auto Gallery, Able Ideas, and Beerhead Bar and Eatery.
Hey everybody, welcome to Comic Experience Sci-Fi. We are in beautiful downtown Detroit at the Beer Exchange here. And Jill, what's on tap for today's episode?
Well, Nick, we've got a special Star Wars tribute to celebrate the premiere of Obi-Wan Kenobi on Disney+.
Excellent, excellent. And you're going to see interviews with cosplayers, with authors, with actors, even with a toy maker. Jill, are you caught up on all of the great Star Wars stuff going on these days?
Well, I haven't read the book of Boba Fett yet.
This isn't the co-host I'm looking for.
Hey, it's the Bradcast, and I'm at the Motor City Comic Con 2021. And I am here with Christina, and she has come up with a costume that I have never seen before. Christine, tell me what you got going here.
I am the Trap Queen of the Sith.
Tell me how you put all this together. How long did it take?
My helmet took me maybe about 2 hours. And honestly, I just bought these from Halloween stores and just threw it together.
Well, you're doing a fine job of it. Do you come to Comic-Cons a lot?
Honestly, this is my first one.
Oh, okay. So you didn't miss it that there wasn't one last year.
No, but I probably would have went if there was one last year. I like Darth Maul a lot, so I put the horns for Darth Maul, and then I like everything shiny, so there's diamonds.
Yes, the whole bling thing is totally working for you.
Thank you so much.
I am never missing one of these again. I am, because this is a level of creativity that I have just not witnessed before, coming up with characters, and this is like legit. All right, this has been the Bradcast with Creative Christina, and we'll see you next time.
If you strike me down, I'll be the strongest chef in the city. Welcome to Comic Experience Sci-Fi's new segment, Cosplay Cooking with the Q. I'm Chef Q.
And I'm Jedi Jada. What are we cooking today?
You look more like a Sith to me. But today we're doing lightsaber salmon from Cook Like a Jedi by Susan Gray, which is killing me because I'm a Star Trek fan.
Well, let's get into it.
So we're gonna take 1 tablespoon of parsley, 1 tablespoon of parm, 1 teaspoon of thyme. Mix it together with the salt and pepper to taste. It's important that you taste your mixture because you don't want it to be too salty, you don't want it to be not salty enough. Remember that Parmesan is a salty cheese, so you can cut back on how much salt you actually add into the mixture. The barbecue sauce is to glaze the salmon, so you can dip it into the Parmesan mixture. So then you're just gonna take your salmon and dip it in the mixture, and it should coat like so. You wanna set your oven first. Preset your oven to 350. You're gonna turn it on, and if you have an electric stove, it's actually gonna come on, it's gonna say preheat. And when that light goes off, then you know the oven's nice and hot and ready. Because what you're doing is you're just putting the pan on the stove with olive oil, and you're gonna coat the whole pan. And once it gets hot, you're just searing the salmon off. Oh, you hear that? So you wanna get a nice crust on that salmon. The parm's gonna melt into it, and you're gonna get a nice crunch. And you're just gonna leave that on there for about 2-3 minutes per side. And then once that comes off, you're gonna take your fish, put it on the pan, and shoot it right into the oven. That way, when you put it into the oven, it'll be ready to go. And the oven will finish cooking it and finish the cooking process. It'll be ready in 10 minutes.
10 minutes, okay. I'm getting hungry, so this better be done in 10 minutes. Otherwise, you know what's gonna happen.
10 minutes are up. You go there, you pull it out. If you don't have a thermometer, there's a real easy way to check salmon. Salmon is very flaky, so what you want it to do, you just squeeze the sides a little bit. If it starts to break, it's done, which it is doing. Let's give it a try.
All right.
Sith Lords first.
Well, thank you.
It's flaky, but
You know what? I think I'm gonna spare you this time.
join us next time for more cosplay cooking with Chef Q.
And Jedi Jada.
Hey everybody, it's Nick with Comic Experience Sci-Fi, and we are at the Great Lakes Comic Con, and I'm here with Lydia Graber, who portrayed one of the more memorable Ewoks in Return of the Jedi, which we're going to talk about in a moment. But first, Lydia, tell us about your show business history. How did you get involved in show business?
When I moved to LA, I was 22, and I started working with a group called PATH, which was performing artists for theater for the handicapped. That was before the disability, they moved to disability.
Sure.
And that was at Paramount Studio.
Okay.
I worked with Drew Barrymore on a movie called Irreconcilable Differences.
Sure, remember that one, yeah.
And so a child can only be on the set for 8 hours.
Okay.
4 hours, they have to be in school. So they do all of their scenes first and all their close-ups. And then when it comes to, like, if I was doing a close-up with you, they don't need her on the set.
Right.
So then I would sit by the camera and deliver the lines to you.
Okay.
For your close-up.
Yes. And what gave you the show business bug in the first place?
I always was doing shows in the basement with my friends and ice skating shows
Okay.
and stuff. So I just always liked entertaining.
Okay, well now let's talk a little bit about Star Wars. So how did you get involved with Return of the Jedi?
Okay, well, I had just done a movie in 1980 called Under the Rainbow with Carrie Fisher and
Chevy Chase.
Chevy Chase.
Yes, classic.
And the guys that did the casting, Bill and Dave, we became really good friends and stuff and hung out. And then Lucas contacted them to get all the Ewoks together.
Very interesting. Okay, and tell us, so what was your first day on the job of Return of the Jedi like? What did they
My first day on the job.
Did they get you the costumes right away, or how did that go?
We had to fly up there before the movie.
Gotcha.
And got fitted for our costumes.
Okay.
And that was probably a month or so before the movie started. So the first day were all costumed up with our latex hands, our latex feet, our latex heads. And the first scene, and once you put the head on, the big bubble eyes,
yes,
you couldn't see. They fogged up immediately, which they didn't figure on that happening, I guess. So they're like, action, we just want you to run into the forest. So I took like 3 steps and tripped over a big redwood piece and fell flat on my face. And they're like, cut, okay, get rid of her. So for 3 weeks, I didn't have to do much work because I learned how to not work and put the hot costume on. After the end of the 3rd week, on Saturday, one of the directors came up and said, we're gonna fly you and this other gal down to ILM in Lucas's private jet to do blue screening. And I'm like, okay, I'm in. So that's how I got to do the 2 stunts. The one on the glider, where I got shot down.
Okay.
And then the one with Chewbacca jumping off the bunker with the 2 Ewoks, and I have a club and beat up the stormtroopers and threw them out.
Yes.
That was the other scene that I did at ILM.
And now, one thing I love about that scene that I find so charming is, and tell me if I'm just reading too much into it, but it looks like you and the other Ewok have a little bit of a crush on Chewbacca. You're kind of touching him and stuff.
I love Chewbacca. I know, I was like all over him.
So did you just kind of ad-lib that, or was that directed?
Oh, no, we just ad-libbed it.
Okay.
The same thing on the glider. It was just like, you just do whatever you do, and you want to be more animated.
Sure.
I mean, you want people to, if you're just up there doing nothing, it doesn't, you're going to end up on the cutting room floor.
Right.
Right.
So was it actually Peter Mayhew with you?
Yes.
And how was he?
Oh, he's wonderful. Yeah, and I saw him at a couple Comic-Cons, and so, we've remained friendly through the years.
Well, Lydia, thanks so much for talking to us. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
Thanks
Take
so
care.
much.
I'm Richie Rollins here with Comic Experience Sci-Fi at the Motor City Comic Con. I'm standing here with Sam, the Mandalorian, and how are you doing today, sir?
Doing very well, thanks.
And I take it right now, Mandalorian's probably your favorite show?
It is.
And this is probably why you decided to do this?
It is.
How'd you put it together?
It's 3D printed, PLA, so it just prints on a machine and then needs to be painted. Took about a year and a half to get it all together and done.
Oh, wow. How much did it cost you?
Too much to probably put together.
Have you done cosplay before?
This is the first Comic-Con, first cosplay.
So your first time at cosplay, you decided to make it yourself, and you attacked the Mandalorian with pretty good detail. I take it this is something you might do in the future?
This is, especially if I'm stuck inside for a year and a half again.
Are you thinking of your next project out there?
Maybe a Boba Fett, Book of Boba.
All right, so you're going to stick with the helmet at least, right?
Like the mask.
All right, well, this is Richie Rollins with Comic Experience Sci-Fi. You keep watching.
Hey, this is Mark at the Michigan Comic-Con. I'm here with Jim Swearingen. He's the gentleman who helped spearhead the Star Wars toy movement in the 1970s, who worked with Kenner. Tell me, so what was it like when you first went to Lucasfilm and got the idea to make these toys?
Well, I was a fan from THX 1138, so I knew a little bit of what George had done, and American Graffiti had already been out. So when I found out that they were working on Star Wars, when I read a magazine, it was like when the script came in, it was like, that's my baby. I just got to do this. So it was really great fun.
So when you first went in there and looked at what they were doing, you saw them making the movie. What went through your head?
Well, the very first view I got to see was very limited. I got to see X-Wings and TIE Fighters on model stands, but my first experience of actually seeing any of the movie was just a black screen with some blinking lights on it for dailies. But I got to see the first showing in May 1st of '77, and from then on I was over the moon. I guess that's an expression of that. So it was just incredible to see that first showing.
Being one of the kids of that era that got to buy these toys when they first came out, I was always wondering who decided which action figures they were going to make first.
Well, on the very first ones, it was almost up to me, because I was the only one that was doing any back and forth with Lucasfilm. So I kind of picked the ones I liked the most. They were some of them were just natural. Luke and Leia, C-3PO and R2-D2, all those. Eventually, we did the first 11, and then they added the Death Squad commander, the guy with the black helmet, was added later, once it was all turned over to production design. But I got to it was pretty obvious what the first figures had to be.
Now, why wasn't there ever a Grand Moff Tarkin action figure in that first line of Star Wars toys?
Oh, you asked that. As a designer, I get to blame that on somebody else, because it's always the question, why didn't they do this figure? And whenever I'm asked that question, so that's marketing's fault. Because the marketing, after we got started, the marketing managers made all those decisions.
So how long were you involved with Kenner through this whole Star Wars run?
On Star Wars, I was involved from the very beginning, which was around January of 1977, and I was really intimately involved until April and May, when it was really pretty much a preliminary design project. But until they really got going and people started seeing the vision, it was really probably my baby for a couple months, where I was the only one, kind of directing things, which was pretty exciting for a designer. And then 1979, I went to the dark side. I became a product manager and switched completely. So I ended up doing 5 years with Strawberry Shortcake. So complete shift from boys' action figures to little fantasy dolls for girls. So I've had a very varied career, so it's been a lot of fun.
It's time for a quick commercial break, but don't worry, Comic Experience Sci-Fi will be right back.
Stop what you're doing and come check out how we do things here at Able Ideas Comic Book Production Company. That we got your attention. Now go to our YouTube channel to subscribe and follow us on social media. Stay tuned for our uncensored DVD coming soon. And for more information, follow us at ableideas.com, where your ideas come to life.
Here at Crystal Bright Janitorial Services, we provide a full range of cleaning and sanitizing services for our clients. Our daily and nightly services include cleaning and sanitizing, high and low dusting, vacuuming, mopping, and much more. Our specialty services include floor care, carpet cleaning, stripping and waxing, upholstery cleaning, and much more. Our emergency services include COVID-19, flood cleanup, bio-cleaning, and much more. Our expertise in janitorial services is adaptable to any customer enterprise, including corporate commercial offices, medical offices, government municipalities, manufacturing, and much more. We will develop a total quality management plan detailing your specific cleaning requirements, staffing, and expectations. Contact us today to get a free assessment of your cleaning and sanitizing needs. Our #1 goal is to give you a crystal bright smile.
Printing your comic book should be an easy and exciting experience. You shouldn't have to break the bank or wait too long to get your prints in your hands or to your fans. At Comics Wellspring, we specialize in printing high-quality comic books and graphic novels at an affordable price right here in the USA. Our quality-controlled environment and super helpful customer service ensure we deliver the perfect prints on time and an excellent experience every time. These are good? So bring your fantastic stories to life and print your comic books with Comics Wellspring.
Thanks for sticking around. Here's more Comics, Beer, and Sci-Fi.
Hey everyone, it's Nick with Comics, Beer, and Sci-Fi. We're at Great Lakes Comic Con 2022, and I have a real treat. I'm here with Kim Simmons. This gentleman is the photographer who did the artwork for the original Star Wars toys for Kenner back in 1977. Do I have that right?
Not quite.
Okay.
Not quite. That's okay. My boss was Roy Frankenfield. He did it from 77 until I came on board in 81.
Okay.
I took over from 81, and then I never looked back.
Tell us the story of how you got this gig.
I literally walked into a design studio showing my book. I'd just gotten out of grad school.
Okay.
And I walked in, this art designer, graphic designer, and he says, "Oh, okay, great. You fit the bill." Called me that night and said, "You got a job." Because I told him I would literally sweep his floors. I just needed a job. It's $100 a week. It's fine. Just give me a job.
Sure. Okay, well, how did Star Wars come about?
Well, he had it.
Okay.
That was it. That was the account that he was going to lose.
I see.
He was in trouble. He was going to lose it.
Okay.
And he needed help. He really did. I saw it not as a payday. I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, literally a lot of fun for me.
Okay, well, what was your first assignment? Do you recall?
First assignment was I was going up. I walked in the door, went up ladder of 8 feet, and I was working on a Darth Vader insert
Okay.
Darth Vader figures.
Okay, and what was the first vehicle or play set or figure or character that you worked on?
One of the first packages I worked on was the Cap 2. Okay. And I literally took it home with me and did it in my studio at the house and brought it home. Brought it in the next day, processed the film out. They had to have it that fast. Got the film processed and out it went.
What was your favorite, or a couple of your favorite designs that you did, or shots that you did?
The Hoth battle scene. To me, the Hoth battle scene was that was where I loved that one.
Yeah.
That was the point of purchase display that I did. It was phenomenal.
And did they direct you in what kind of a shot to take, or did you have freedom to do that?
Well, what they did is initially they okay, here's the toy.
Yeah.
I'd go over, and the brief literally was, here's the toy, take it. Give me a bunch of shots on it. And we need to see the front, back, sides, every which way. I'd go back, I'd shoot it in black and white initially, and bring it back to them, all the shots, all the black and white, and they'd say, which ones do you want? They'd go, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and pick them out. And I'd go make prints on them. They'd go turn around, they'd comp up a box, and next thing I know, they'd come back and say, this is what we want, because it's approved. Then I got to go back and redo it.
Right, because it wasn't just the big picture on the box. You had the side shots on the box.
The other stuff.
So you started with Empire Strikes Back then, okay. And then you worked through Return of the Jedi as well?
All of Return of the Jedi, and then the Power of the Force 2, and then all the way up to E1.
So tell us what you're doing these days?
We're working, my wife's laying the book out. I've been getting all the images ready for the Kickstarter for the Volume 4, which is Power of the Force 2 and E1.
Well, it's a real treat to meet you, Mr. Simmons, and we're glad you're around, and we're glad you're busy, and your images are, they're on our brains for life, so thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Hey, it's the Bradcast, and I am at the Motor City Comic Con, and I am here with some very impressive Star Wars enthusiasts. On my left is a TIE fighter, and on my right, tell me again what you do?
I'm a Nova Trooper.
Tell me about how you put all this lovely business together. You look fantastic, even close up.
Yeah, basically we buy them in kits. We throw them all together, we string it all together, cut the plastic out. Of course, this one requires a little extra painting, but basically we'd sit there, put them together, and bring it out to shows for you guys.
Is this the same thing? You buy things to fit and then you put it all together, because this really does look fantastic.
Yeah, it is. Obviously there's some assembly required, but he actually does all my assembly for me. So he takes care of it. But yeah, it's basically like the same type of thing. I just have less stuff to put together.
Have you made other outfits before?
Yeah, I've got a few troopers. I do a lot of these weird troopers that you see like in the old expanded universe. And I've been doing this about 10 years, and he's probably been in about 3 years now.
Why did you decide to go with the TIE Fighter? A fan, or because you knew you were going to rock the look?
Mostly because I'm a fan of it, plus I'm also a private pilot also, so it kind of fits.
Nice. Why a Nova Fighter?
I just like the look, man. I like the black armor with the gold stripes.
Yeah. So how does it feel to be back after 2 years away from the cons?
Oh, it feels good, man. It's been a while since I've been in the armor. I mean, just in general, our group, the 501st, we haven't had much to do, of course, so it's nice to be back out and letting people take pictures with us, you know?
Oh, it's very nice. This is actually my first Motor City Comic Con, so nice. This is extra special, but first con as a TIE pilot. But I've been coming for many years, and it's great to get back out and do some stuff again.
This has been the Bradcast. We'll see you next time.
Hey, this is Mark at the Michigan Comic-Con. I'm here with author Timothy Zahn. Now tell me, sir, how did you get started with Lucasfilm writing the Thrawn trilogy?
Back in 88, Lou Aronica at Bantam Spectra wrote to Lucasfilm about restarting their Star Wars adult fiction line, picking up after Return of the Jedi, which is an era nobody had been allowed to write in before. About a year later, Lucasfilm decided to go ahead and do this. Bantam editors made up a list of authors they thought could handle Star Wars. Lucasfilm liked my style, and I got a totally out-of-the-blue phone call in November of '89 from my agent saying, "Tim, we've got a very interesting offer here."
Did you get to work with George Lucas on this storyline?
No, I don't know if George himself had a lot to do with any of the novels. He had people to do that, the liaisons and the marketing folk. So I worked with several of the Lucasfilm people, but I'm not even sure George ever wound up reading the books. He was working on prequel stuff at the time, so he was pretty busy on his own.
So you had to be a pretty big fan to take on this work. What was it like, I mean, as you're writing this, and you're thinking, I'm actually writing Star Wars. What did that feel like?
It was just awesome. It was, exciting, exhilarating, and terrifying at the same time, because this was my chance to jumpstart my career, but it was also my chance to fall flat on my face in front of millions of Star Wars fans who would never forgive me. I know the idea that Star Wars fans could be, not like something Star Wars is foreign to everybody, but it could have happened. So there was a certain amount of fear element involved. I better get this right.
Did you listen to John Williams' score while you're writing this just to get inspiration?
Oh, I was doing that all along as I was starting my career in 1980, writing my own science fiction. The Star Wars and then later the Empire and Return of the Jedi soundtracks were in my rotation of things to listen to while I wrote. So listened to a lot of John Williams in that period.
Back in the early 90s, there was some rumors that these books were going to be converted into episodes 7, 8, and 9. Did you hear anything about that?
They were always just rumors. It was never the intention of George to do anything with these other than be novels. I never thought of them as anything more than episodes 6.1, 6.2, and 6.3. So, and the pattern George had always talked about was a generational thing, where, as the prequel showed, the young Darth Vader, young Anakin Skywalker, then we have his children, and then presumably someplace down the line we'll have family. Well, we've got Kylo Ren in the sequel trilogy. So I knew that the Thrawn trilogy, set 5 years after Return of the Jedi, was not in position to be 7, 8, and 9. But yeah, there were a lot of rumors of all sorts back then.
When Disney bought Star Wars from Lucas, was there any talk about possibly translating your books into those 7, 8, 9?
There was certainly no talk to me. If there was any talk behind the scenes, I never heard about it. So,
did you ever think that you'd be traveling the country talking about your books with people at these cons?
Oh, I've been doing that for many years, but everything was jumped to a new level when Dave Filoni and the Star Wars Rebels team brought Thrawn into that, onto the small screen and made him official and officially a part of Star Wars canon. So that has certainly made interest in Thrawn, taken it to an entirely new level.
Hey, it's the Bradcast, and I am at the Motor City Comic-Con, and I'm here with Jerry. He has got a unique take on at least 3 genres that I can think of. Jerry, tell us about what you've done here.
I've done Ronald McDonald Mandalorian.
And a fine job of it that you've done. I was kind of thinking when I saw you earlier is he definitely has the Force with him, but I was thinking perhaps it was the Force of fries. But no pun intended. You are rocking this. How long did it take you to put this together?
About 2 months.
Where did you get the idea?
I looked online. Everybody else has done the Joker, and no one has done a Ronald McDonald. I can bring it to you warm, or I can bring it to you cold.
That's fantastic. See, you got to pay the price of admission to come to this place to see this level of creativity by the enthusiastic clientele. I am telling you. How many of these have you come to, Jerry?
Every year.
What did you do last year when there wasn't one?
I made this outfit.
Any hints on what we might find you wearing next year?
Next year, probably something else, Star Wars or Star Trek.
Okay.
Bridged over to another comic book.
Okay. This has been the Bradcast with Jerry and the Ronald McDonald Lorian, or what did you call it?
Ronald Lorian.
Ron DeLorean. Okay. Absolutely perfect. And we will see you next time.
Well, that does it for this week's episode of Comic Experience Sci-Fi. We had a great time here in downtown Detroit at the Beer Exchange.
And if you want to see more Star Wars footage, make sure to check out our YouTube channel. And don't forget to subscribe to our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And we will be back next week for an episode celebrating animation. So don't forget to tune in.